up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm Celtic Warrior Shayna.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
And now, it's time! Introducing Fighting! One half of the legendary podcast team, the IIronics! It's Kevlar!
What's up, y'all? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. It's been a little bit of a minute. We are back. The boys are back in town. That's right. At Ref Marsh. At WOTR the show. This is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show because we do not get past episode 1 until episode 1 is done correctly. Stackhouse already coming through saying that intro was fire. I'm glad people are liking the new intro. I got a new countdown intro. Man, this lighting is a little dim, huh? All right, well, maybe I gotta... No, maybe that's fine. I don't know, guys. Bishop coming through, saying it was a dope intro. I got a new countdown intro, Kevlar. I haven't showed it to you yet, but we have one that's a little more animated, so it's not just a blank screen till all of a sudden we go live. It lets people know when we're about to go live, so people know they got a few seconds to get themselves a drink.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of drink, Kev, what's in your glass?
I'm drinking Shinerbach from the good old state of Texas.
Oh shit, the old Shinerbach. What you been hanging out with?
Shiner.
With the hashtag, that dude's fueled by Shiner.
Oh, I thought you were going to try the
Oh, really?
I can try the new one.
You don't have to. I was just asking.
Stackhouse says he's usually not in time to see it. Actually, Stackhouse, this is the first time we did the intro, so you actually made it in time. Which one did you want me to try? The Elijah Craig?
You were pretty excited about that one.
All right. All right, I'm going to try the Elijah Craig, it looks like. I'm going to have an Elijah Craig small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. You're drinking from Texas. I'm drinking from Kentucky. We've got the whole Bible Belt covered.
Just in time in the chat.
Just in time coming through. I'm just in time. It is correct.
And this is producer lady, voice on the side.
Always watching, always listening, judging, staring. I opened it. Elijah Craig, small batch. It's got a mushroom head lid. I like it already. Signature on top. I like signed things. Collectible, probably. Just in time also coming through. There's a... yeah, goddamn right. There's a... It looks like Just in Time's going to actually be on our show. Just announcing this right now. On Thursday, Just in Time's going to come through, hang out with me and Amanda. Clump needs to take a little bit of time to deal with some things. So he's going to do that. And we got Just in Time filling in. So...
And you've never tried this bottle, right?
I've never tried this bottle of Elijah Craig. We're going to see how it goes. I hope we have a mixer just in case. You never know when you try a new bourbon what's going to happen. So, Kev, how you been, man? I feel like it's been a while, but I feel like it was like, what, maybe a week?
I don't even know. I can't keep track of days anymore.
Oh, maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know, man. It does feel like it's been a long-ass time, though. So I'm glad you're back. Glad you're coming through. Guys.
Yes, sir.
Check us out at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com for all of our links. ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingOnTheRocks for all of our t-shirts. And you can check it out. Support Kev for his birthday all year round with the IIronics t-shirt.
That's terrible. I still
Just in time in the chat in all caps. Thursday Night Chaser, let's go.
Oh, that's true. That's Thursday night when he's going to be on. I'm going to let this cool down some. I'm going to add some ice to this.
Is it too much?
A healthy burn on the back end of it. I'll tell you that right now. This is...
All right, everything I pick out apparently is kind of rough.
Strong as fuck. She's like, you need a hole in your belly. Let's line
real
it
smooth.
Up. Yeah, smooth. No, I don't think it's bad. It tastes really good, but without the coldness, it really heated up on the back. So
The mushroom top punched your throat, huh?
Yep. Punch you right in the throat. Right in the throat. This one.
Perfect.
Yeah. I should have known. Should have seen it coming. All right. Kev, how you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Still.
Right,
How you been?
still good.
What have you been up to?
Good, man. I've been good. I've been up to a bunch of stuff. Are you there? Did I just lose you?
No, I'm
Okay,
here.
cool. I heard a weird noise, and I was like, ah, fuck. Here we go. Yeah. I've been doing some really cool stuff. So we'll talk about it just briefly, because we didn't talk about it really last week. Pro Wrestling for Life, the podcast hosted by Sean X-Pac Waltman. I've started doing editing for them and some graphics, and as an intro to the team, they had me on their latest episode. It was the episode with the interview with Fatu and Court Bauer. That's correct. And I'm the headline, man. I'm the main event. The last segment of the show is a game show, me versus X-Pac, where I pay my dues in full. And I went head-to-head with him on WWE recent trivia, current events WWE. And so, we went back and forth. It was really cool. It was awesome being a guest on the show and then being invited in to become part of the team, you know?
Hell yeah.
And that was a really cool episode. It also kind of went into some MLW background, and yeah, I was really interested just in general.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool finding out as much as we did about the Fatu family and the Anoais and their tie-ins with the MLW, which I didn't realize was so deep. But it was. So yeah, man, that's what I've been up to, is just knocking out a bunch of stuff for them and helping them out with stuff, and it's been pretty wild. So it's good to be back with the IIronics, though. Just time saying good to see Kev. Says feels like it's been forever. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. Unless there's something else you want to throw in there.
Nope.
All right, fine. I was also this week on Good Cop, Bad Cop. They're the old British podcast. Bishop already gave me hell from Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast. He already gave me hell because on that episode, I did not talk about European kickball, and apparently that's what they had talked about. I said it didn't ever come up, and he said they literally talked about scores of a game. And I said it must have been a language barrier. I didn't understand what they were talking about. Yeah, hell yeah. But so you can find me all over the goddamn place right now, dude. This is the week, man. This is the week. I'm all over the place. Speaking of Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast, just so you know, Bishop has made a new promo code for our listenership alone to get 25% off anything at the Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast /TWT's website. It is one word, suck it clump. 25% off. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, and Just said it was an excellent episode. I had a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun talking to them. We got to talk about Ricky Gervais for a bit. Turns out one of them is a big Ricky fan. One of them is not. So one of them is no longer a friend of mine, and I've unfollowed him immediately. I'm just kidding. Let's see, dude. Let's get into a little bit of the news. I don't have a ton of news per se, but unfortunately, we had a couple of people pass away this week. One was Don Kernoodle, was a tag team wrestler in the NWA and former NWA tag champion, I think North American champion as well. But he'd been around for a really long time, and seeing the amount of people and their outpouring about his passing, I'm not familiar with his work. It's from an era that we weren't watching much, so I don't imagine you're all that familiar with him either, Kev.
No.
Yeah. All we can really say is it's terrible, and tears in our beers, and rest in peace to Don Canoodle. And read up on all the stuff you're seeing about him. There's a lot of articles popping up that are interesting, so check it out.
Nice.
The other one is one that you'll have probably a little bit more to say, Kev, but New Jack passed away this week, which was crazy. What did you think about that? I mean, apart from it being sad.
Yeah, made me cry.
Did that one hit you?
It was kind of a little bit, yeah. I think it was one of those that kind of just took me by surprise, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those where I was just like, you're looking one way and a ball comes flying at your head from the other direction and just smacks you.
Yeah.
Just, kind of made me take a step back and be like, damn.
Yeah, I think he was only 58.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was crazy. Obviously, New Jack, icon of ECW, but long history before that. He did a bunch of stuff in Smoky Mountain. He did a ton of stuff at Smoky Mountain. People were sharing a lot of it, too, because he was so good on promos, and he was just, I say just, but he wasn't the sensational violence that he became. He was just a real as fuck good wrestler. Like, he came off the way Eddie Kingston comes off nowadays, where you just can't help but believe everything he says and thinks that something's going to pop off. He didn't get that bloody, ultra-violent until he hit ECW for one reason or another. But it was just interesting to see a lot of those old clips floating around. And yeah, he definitely is a name I always associate with ECW when I think of it right away.
And Heyman had some really touching words to say as well on Talking Smack.
Yeah, did you get to see that? I forgot to share that out.
No, I didn't see it.
I'll send it to you so you can watch it later. But Paul Heyman got a couple of minutes. It was like almost 4 minutes, I think, talking about New Jack on Talking Smack. And if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth going back and checking out. But he, Paul Heyman's just amazing. And it obviously affected him. It obviously hit him. So, I don't know, man. It sucked. Like you said, it was kind of out of nowhere. In that regard, it was reminiscent to me of like when we found out John Huber had passed. Just kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was fine. We just saw him in interviews. Like, we just saw him like a month ago. Like,
yeah,
they just did that Dark Side of the Ring in New Jack last year, and he looked fine. And he was posting cameos just a couple months ago, and everything was fine. He was hysterical. He was crazy. It was awesome. Like,
yeah, there was a promotion, I think, that was supposed to do something with him, somewhat recently, and they said, hey, we just talked to him last weekend, and no sign of anything. So it was really, really a shock to everyone.
Yeah, it was just wild. I mean, you can say what you will about him, and I know that there's been a lot of weird back and forth about if he was too violent or the times he took liberties on people. And I don't know about any of that stuff. I mean, obviously, it is what it is, and he's openly talked about the drugs and stuff. But you can't discount the idea that when somebody is gone, there's a hole in a family, and that's sad no matter what way you cut it. You know what I mean? So I've seen some weirdly people taking like weird sides on this, and there's no side to take here. A dude died out of nowhere, and his family's fucking in mourning. So at least you can say is R.I.P. and move along. Like, you don't have to go buy every toy that ever came out with him. You still can respect the guy's life, in that regard. So I don't know. Anything else you want to say about that, Kev? Any New Jack
Not
memories?
much. Just what's that?
Any New Jack memories of watching him and stuff?
None that really stick out more than others, but I liked his body of work, and you said he was an icon in ECW, and he handled his shit. Yeah, 100%. No one wanted to fuck with him in or out of the ring. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where, yeah, there was just such a craziness about him and an aura about him that even if you saw him at like an indie thing and he's like signing stuff at the table, you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to say anything. I'll just, you know what I mean? Like, I imagine it'd be like the Soup Nazi in Seinfeld. I was like, I'll just step forward, step to the side, get my autograph, move along. Yeah. I think that was happening in Kev's room. I think someone came in. Oh, no, I'm hearing you echo. Kev, are you good? Hold on, my AirPods got disconnected.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. That's why we're hearing, because we're hearing us on the thing. It's all right. We'll get that sorted here in just a second. We'll hit the chat real quick. GR Lunar is saying hi. Good to see you, Lunar. Cheers. He was hanging out for the Backlash watch along, the Wrestlemania Backlash watch along. So anybody who wants to check out the buyback on our podcast archives, as it were. But yeah, he says Twitter will always have edgelords and their poor opinions. And yeah, I think that's part of it too. I think it was kind of the idea of like, oh, if I say something edgy or shitty, that
I'll get a lot of people talking about me, and all news is good news, right? Traffic is traffic, click or clicks. But I think that there's also lines that is I don't know, a whole other thing. Is there anything happening in any of the Twitch? Because I think the Bishop was talking in the Twitter one, so I don't see when he talks.
I don't see that he was talking.
Okay, so there's nothing I'm missing? Cool.
He just, he just said dope intro at the beginning, and then he hasn't said anything.
All right.
So,
Is Kev still gone?
he's still gone.
All right. He's trying to fix his AirPod thing. So,
The other news.
yeah, I guess I'll move it along. Well, I mean, Charles Grodin passed away. He's not really wrestling related. I don't know that he ever came through anything wrestling at all. But he did pass away, and he was an icon of our childhood. Anybody who watched Clifford or Beethoven?
All the Beethovens. I watched all the Beethovens.
Every single Beethoven. That is correct. So, tears in our beers to New Jack. Tears in our beers to Charles Grodin. I mean, even Dana Carvey doing Grodin impressions on Saturday Night Live is still something I think about all the time, and it's just amazing. So, yeah, cheers to them as well.
Yep.
Jeff, you back? You good?
My AirPods just took a shit.
All right. Do you got your other headphones going?
Nope.
All right. Can you hear us though? At
Going
least
off the- What?
you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's all right, dude. It's only the first episode. It's only episode 1. Don't even stress about it. We'll get through
I'm
it.
not.
As he throws one more back.
Yep.
Yeah. There's
Real
one thing I ain't. It's stressed. Glug. All right, man. Let's do it, I guess. Let's do it. I don't have any other news. Do you have any other news?
No, I mean, other than shows are starting back up. That's kind of it.
Yeah, we do have shows starting to back up in July. Anything you had any opinion on that, Kev?
No, just excited. Hopefully they're done right and let's get back to normal.
Yeah, our only concern that we had was that a lot of the videos we've been seeing online of people at like the ball games that have opened up and stuff is just a lot of people fighting. I'm like, there's a lot of pent up aggression going out there right now. Like, just hope everybody stays calm, everybody has a good time. We're all in it together. All right, Kev, let's talk about it. Let's see. What? We'll talk SmackDown briefly. I think there's only a couple things to mention on SmackDown before we just get into Backlash. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah. I mean, nothing, stuck out too much to me.
Right. So let's just talk about the two big things that kind of occurred on there. I mean, the Bayley Bianca thing was good, but realistically, we haven't talked to you since Jimmy Uso has returned. So week 2 of Jimmy Uso and the stuff between Jimmy and Roman and Jay and the Nobody's Bitch shirt. What do you think about all that stuff's going on? Because I went on and on and on about it last week. So I want to give you the floor a little bit to talk about what you think, even going into Backlash, about the Jimmy and Roman and Jay stuff.
I mean, I'm glad he's back. I think this is going to be great. I think it's weird that they started off with a little hesitance of just joining, his brother, which is fine, but, seeing what played out on Friday and then, what occurred at Backlash where he was, not there, I didn't quite get it. It almost felt like a waste of a return. I think he should have come back in a different spot.
I gotcha. I think what they're doing, I think it's a little transparent that they're going to go through the Jimmy storyline the same way they did the Jay, with Jay being the other voice of, dude, don't do what I had to go through. It's not worth it. Mm-hmm. I love the fucking promos that the Usos have been having with each other. And the way that Jimmy's been talking to Roman. Dude, and then the promo between Seth Rollins and Roman. I think the whole storyline is just fucking great. I just think it's perfect. I hear what you're saying, though. Like, it is really parallel to Jay, but it also is the
Yeah.
Usos. So would you want it any other way than them being all tightly knit? And
Well, yeah.
almost...
I mean, like, I get it. It's just, I don't want it to just be a rerun, basically. And I don't like that it was so prevalent on SmackDown and then nothing at Backlash.
Yeah, very little at Backlash. But they did the same thing with... They've been doing that with Roman, with all the pay-per-views, where there's like a shitload of stuff leading into it, and then they get to the pay-per-view, and it's all like, all right, I guess that was just pretty clean. Like, they're trying to keep the pay-per-views real clean. I mean, even when you think about, like, Retribution, when they were really running wild before they started to, like, really show up with, like, with Mustafa and all that, when they were, like, actually coming out on Raw and SmackDown and, like, ruining the set and shit, they always avoided the pay-per-views. They've been keeping the pay-per-views relatively clean of large chunks of storytelling, which has been kind of interesting in and of itself. But they did do a whole promo segment with Roman, Jimmy, and Jay during the pay-per-view, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened that was big that's worth talking about, Natalya and Tamina defeated Nia Jax and Shayna Basler to get the Women's Tag Team Championship for the first time ever. What do you think about that?
I have mixed emotions on it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that they won it. I was behind them. I'm excited. I want to see their reign, them have a long reign, but this should have happened at WrestleMania. And then, if not, WrestleMania Backlash. Not just a SmackDown.
I hear you, and I don't totally disagree. And going into it, I was like, why did we do it on a SmackDown and not WrestleMania Backlash? At WrestleMania Backlash and during our watch-along, I'll tell you the match that made me go, I think this is why they didn't do it here. But, yeah, going into it, it still felt a little... It was a little tainted just because it should have definitely been at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that they did it at all. I'm glad they pulled the trigger. I'm glad they did the whole thing, did the fireworks. They had the plates changed right away. You know what I mean? That same night, they had new plates on those belts, and the video was up.
Nice.
I love that they went all in with it, that it was like... Just fucking do it. Just go. Because, yeah, how many times have we had champions who just don't get their plates for, like, months? You know?
And I hope that doesn't mean that, they're not going to have it for too long. I hope it's, like, not a short-lived run.
I agree. I think that part of it was Natty already had some. I think they made some for, like, the shop and stuff when Tamina was going for the SmackDown title of Money in the Bank last year. So I think they had plates ready to go. But it was pretty dope, dude. It was an amazing moment. Such a good feel-good moment. We even found out today on Twitter. That's where all the news comes from. That the Hart Foundation... Most reliable source. The Hart Foundation won their first tag titles in the Tampa Sun Dome. So it was theoretically the same building.
Nice, I guess.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was really awesome just how selfless Natty was the whole time. She just made it about Tamina to the point where she didn't even do the sharpshooter. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, she didn't even do the sharpshooter. The whole match looked like it was really highlighting Tamina. Tamina's splash looked incredible. I think the reason it looks clunky at times, I think she's afraid to kill people, which is fair. But when you have Nia Jax on the mat, she's like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you can splash Nia. She'll be fine. But you got Alexa Bliss down there. Tamina might be like, I might break her. You know what I mean? Like, I can see that.
Yeah, she's not going to, like, just knock someone unconscious.
It'd be cool, though.
This is an AEW.
They got doctors and shit there. Clear to wrestle. All right, well, let's get into Backlash. Let's just keep it moving. You good with that?
Yeah.
Because those are the big things for me. And then they're obviously leading into a 4-way this coming up SmackDown, and we'll talk about that with the Intercontinental Championship. They had a couple of segments that was cool. But as we lead into WrestleMania Backlash, I imagine you did not see the kickoff show, or did you?
I saw parts of it.
So they did have Sheamus versus Ricochet in an open challenge thing. Did you see the match?
Yeah, great match.
It's fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah. I got so excited when Ricochet came out. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, me too. What do you think about him wrestling in jeans? He's like wrestling in black jeans now.
I like it. I liked
them
his year before, and then he switched to this weird underwear shit that I didn't like. And then now that he's in jeans, I like it again.
Yeah, I'm right on board where I was like, I don't feel like I should like this as much as I do. But even then, he's got like that denim hoodie that works because it's just like his other hoodie that was like leather and stuff, but like just looks more chill and relaxed. I don't know, man. I thought it was awesome.
To me, it looks more like grimy and like tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so chic and yeah.
100%. He looks like the type of dude who you would make fun of at the arcade, and then he accidentally roundhouse kicks you, and you go, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean?
I'm telling.
Yeah, I'm telling. 100%, man. But it was a fantastic match, and they went into Raw. Do you want to do this where we just break down the show, or do you want to talk storylines and the fallout on Raw? How do you want to do it?
Yes. I don't care. It's probably easier just to do storylines since we're just going to breeze through Raw and SmackDown and, we can just continue the storyline.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So Ricochet and Sheamus had this on the kickoff. At the end of the match, Ricochet takes Sheamus's hat and jacket, and then, as he put it, he ninja threw that shit right back in his face. And then on Raw, you had Sheamus come out without his hat and jacket, and he was all pissed, and he was telling Ricochet to come out. He calls him mate, and you never want to hear that from Sheamus. And then Ricochet pops up on the screen there with Sarah Schreiber and cuts a promo about how he stole the hat and jacket again. Dude, how good was that promo with Ricochet? That was easily my favorite Ricochet promo to date.
I think I'm just remembering Ricochet's expressions and how kind of you could tell he was just having fun and being goofy.
Yeah, he was emoting a lot, and he wasn't coming off like robotic. What do you think of it?
I thought it was like really natural, and I liked it. I just didn't like the whole I stole his jacket and hat thing. Reminds me of Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Some stupid shit.
Well, there's that. Wasn't there a whole thing with Bret Hart and what was the French guy's name? He's PCO now. Anyways, when I think when him and the Mountie had a fucking issue because they stole Bret's leather jacket or some shit. It was like a weird thing back in the day. I'll give you, it's a little bit goofy and dumb that he's like taking hats and jackets and being like, "What, me?" But I will say they did great pulling it off and making it fine for what it was. It's just you don't want it to be a long-term story about a hat and jacket.
Yeah, 100%. If that was it, I'm good with it. Like, it's definitely not fucking zombies, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Justin Time does say Ricochet's look is the same he had in Lucha Underground when he was the darker Prince Puma. So I guess I'll have to check that out. I got I think through 2 seasons before I forgot about it altogether, and then I keep talking about going back to watch Lucha Underground, and it just never happens. But I'll have to check that out. Dark Prince Puma. But yeah, 100%. That's what I feel like. If this is kind of the end of the line of the hat and jacket story, and we can move forward with other story involving them, or that they just don't like each other because they're assholes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't even be too pissed if Sheamus came out in Ricochet's tiny little vest. I just don't want the whole thing.
I feel like he'd be like, big guy in a little coat.
Yeah.
I don't even think it'd fit.
Yeah, which I think would be part of the funniness of it. But at the same time, a lot of people were talking shit on this, and I think they're just absolutely wrong. I think this was an excellent showing of Ricochet in both matches. Looked absolutely fucking tremendous. Him and Sheamus work really well together. And for the first time ever, Ricochet hit a promo out of the park on national TV. He's done other good promos online and for Main Event and in his Twitter, and I've been seeing some of them lately going, "Oh, this is getting good." This is the first time we've had on national TV cut a promo where we thought, boom, out of the park. You nailed it. Maybe that's why we haven't seen a ton of Ricochet since the U.S. title picture, because he struggled so much there. Maybe they didn't, quote, give up on him or bury him. Maybe they were working with him for long enough to come out so it wouldn't be a problem next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that seem possible?
He doesn't have to read books in the back about his father.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like makes sense to me.
And I love getting Sheamus more worked up. I just love to pissed off Sheamus.
Oh yeah, pissed off Sheamus is great, Sheamus, and I'm loving everything with Sheamus too. Yo, dude,
Yes.
Sheamus and Ricochet in a program. I'm okay with them taking this program all the way to Hell in a Cell,
Hell,
as long as it doesn't
I was gonna
completely.
ask you
As long as it
about
doesn't.
the match.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as long as it doesn't completely revolve solely around the concept of Ricochet stealing a hat over and over again, I'm totally down with this going on for like a month or two and watching them just beat the shit out of each other for a while.
Yeah. I mean, Ricochet needs a U.S. title shot. Like,
yeah.
I think, like, what's his name? Not Garza, Humberto.
Yeah.
You know, Sheamus beating the shit out of him. Doesn't he want to see an actual title match between the two?
Yeah, I want to see that. I mean, and Humberto blew out his asshole, so he's not in the picture anymore. We need somebody.
Yeah.
Who's more perfect to work this right now than Ricochet?
Yeah, next man
I
up
know.
mentality.
Yeah,
But
man,
I was
do it.
gonna ask you, what did you think of the ref in that match? The ref hitting the 3, but Ricochet, you know, they didn't show the replay, so it might have been a 3 count, but Ricochet kicked out, and then the ref waved it off.
It was real tough to tell. And now that you mention it, I intended to go back and watch that spot one more time. Do you remember the move that he kicked out of? Did he kick out of a bro kick?
No,
I don't think it was.
I think it was a knee to the face or something.
I think so too. I don't think it was a full-on bro kick, but it did seem
Yeah.
like it actually pissed off Sheamus. And I do think that he didn't get the arm up in time, or it was really truly right on that time. Because I will say in the I haven't reffed a shitload, but in the matches I have reffed, I did hit 3 on a couple of close counts and had to say no, that was a 2. My hand was in motion. You know, like sometimes it can be tough. I mean,
well, I'm surprised,
especially if you don't know
doesn't
the
happen
finish.
more. You know, I know the refs, you know the outcome and, you know, pull their hand away, but I wish it would happen more. Like in regular sports, it's like 1, 2, and, you know, your hands in motion coming down. If it's that close and you hit 3, but say no, it was 2, I think that would give more storyline to a lot of matches. I'm not saying do it in every match, but
yeah,
if it happens more often, I think it's better.
Yeah, so close that the ref actually hit the 3 and saw the count at the same time. You just couldn't stop his hand. There's a few people who do pretty decent. But yeah, I think that there's a number of refs that want to know the finish, so that doesn't happen. But I agree with you. The fact that it happens at all, the fact that it happened here, I was like, oh shit. You know, like that came off pretty cool. Anytime you can watch it and say, hey, was that supposed to go down that way?
Yeah.
Then that's a good thing. Because
See,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I wish they were on SmackDown on this, because I would have loved to hear McAfee being like, "Oh, we need to see the instant replay. That was close. You know."
Oh yeah.
And they didn't show it, which I think proves that he didn't kick out in time. You know, I didn't rewatch it myself, but at the same time, you know, hey, if you have as close to finishes as most of these matches have, then, like I said, that should be happening more often than not.
Yeah.
And
And
it is
at the end of the
discretion.
day. Yeah, it is ref's discretion. The ref was all like, I'm pretty sure it was up. I mean, and at the end of the day, they wrapped it up right after that. He got his head kicked clean off in what was one of the best bro kicks we've seen ever. Because even as they showed the instant replay on there, it looked like it just took Ricochet's head right off. It was fucking crazy. So it was so good. But yeah, that spot was what it was. I like it, like you said, because it shows a level of realism in that regard. But yeah, no, I'm so excited. And there's 2 matches back to back were so good. Let's see in the chat real quick. Lunar's going on about someone blowing out their asshole, which is really weird. Lunar, you should see somebody. And Just in Time says it was a knee strike. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with Lunar, dude. I hope he's all right. So, Kev.
Yes, sir.
The show opened up in the best way possible. Get all the bad ideas out of the way early. And it opened up with Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. What did you think of this match?
Truthfully, I wasn't that interested in it. Just Charlotte takes away so much from me. And it was funny, I was watching it with my wife, and she sees Charlotte come out and she's like, "Oh, is it Disney Hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's weird. I don't get the whole Cruella DeVille thing."
What I like about the Cruella DeVille thing, as much as I think that I wish she wasn't so on the nose with the Cruella thing, because it looks like she's sponsored. But
Yeah.
what I do like about it is it's the first time we've seen Charlotte in gear that looked like her own and didn't look like a take on her dad's. You know what I mean?
I will agree with that. I did like that. I'm just wondering if she's in the new movie. As transparent as WWE's been with everything.
With Peacock, for sure. I wonder if Cruella's going to launch on Peacock. If it's going to be available through Peacock. It's on Disney Plus?
Yeah. Well, it's not yet, I don't think, but it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Well, then what if...
Which is also owned by Fox.
Oh. God damn it.
Even though she's not on Fox, she's on USA.
All right. Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So, but I do like that the back of her jacket says the Queen instead of Flair. I do like that there's no more feathers on it. It's a crazy sort of, almost like a cobra, where the thing pops out and goes back, or like a Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park, where the thing's like it flips up and then you can flip back down.
A cobra hood is what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that it flips around. I like that there's no feathers. I like that it's all kind of leather. I mean, the black and white thing works. Like I said, if it was just slightly less on the nose, if it wasn't literally Dalmatian skin, and she didn't tweet Cruella, I'm like, okay. But at the same time, it looked really good. It was super to her, like specific. It didn't come off like it was a take on somebody else's thing. But I've also in the past, in all fairness, complained about how heavy some of the cosplay style gear can be in general. Like NXT, I've got an issue with how much Gargano and Candice do to make their stuff cosplay-ish. It's costume-esque. For me, it's a little much, a little often. I will say this is the first time Charlotte's ever done it, so this isn't that. I like things that are inspired by, but not like copycatted from. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I loved the gear. I thought it was a great look. I'm looking forward for her next iteration of this. Like, what's going to be the next color scheme of it? Is it going to be a Dalmatian print again, or is she going to do something sort of in the middle? I'm sort of excited about seeing that. But as it stands, as it was, all things considered, I love this new gear and the new look.
Yeah. Well, I like it. It just, I want to know why. Yeah. Like, she just picked Cruella, new Cruella movies coming out. Like, I just want to know, like, the more backstory of it.
Yeah. I mean, I made the comment that maybe she's going to start murdering people's dogs because there's a lot of dogs on air lately. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, producer made a point where she's like, "Oh, I wonder if she was just because she's like a bad guy, if she's leaning into kind of like the evil side of like Cruella DeVille, and she's doing that." And I was like, "Yeah, but that feels a little on the nose, doesn't it?" Like, but I don't know. I like it, but yeah, I want to see it slightly change. But at the same time, if she did bigger spots, then people are gonna say it's cow print. You don't want that.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if they showed her with like a couple of Dalmatian puppies like in the bag.
I think, amazing, 100%. Or she should have a bag that's barking and she should kick it.
Yeah, just whack.
Yeah. Fucking lean into it.
Come out with the bag like Jake the Snake used to, but it's barking.
Yeah. Just barking. She like whips it around. So overall, though, the match in and of itself, I mean, I felt like it was okay. I felt like it was a little clunky. When it comes to the finish, Charlotte does a big boot to Asuka and then just leaves the ring.
Yeah.
And crouches by the side of the ring and watches Rhea Ripley do a riptide and pin Asuka, and then she acts all indignant about how Rhea could win when you clearly see her on camera just sitting there after a big boot. She wasn't even knocked off the ring apron. She kicked someone else in the head, and then she jumped down off the ring and then watched. And then she was like, "How could this happen?" I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. I wanted a little more. Like, she, falls off, twists her ankle, and struggles to get back in or something.
anything that would have made any kind of sense. She literally did an
Yeah.
offensive move and ducked out. That is 100% the kind of stuff we see in AEW all the time that we talk shit on. When someone does like a clothesline and then also falls over, and you're like, you are in the offense. What's going on? Or I've seen big boots where they both fall over, and you go, why? Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Charlotte was in an offensive position and then falls out when nothing is near her. It just made no sense. Outside of that,
thought
I'm glad
Asuka
Rhea won.
pushed her. Like, lightly pushed her.
What, with her face against her foot? That's not a push. Plus, Charlotte was
Asuka,
holding
but
on to the
Rhea.
ropes. Oh.
I thought
I didn't see Rhea
pushed-
get anywhere near Charlotte. She like ran that
Really?
way, but Charlotte was already gone.
Hmm.
It was bad.
Maybe she scared her.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah!
Maybe she thought she heard barking into the ring.
Yeah.
But I do like Rhea Ripley winning. I love that. I liked what I liked about this
100%.
Backlash, where a lot of times we see Backlash undo a lot of stuff that happens at Mania because they've changed their mind on stuff. This felt like a Backlash that really underlined WrestleMania, saying we made the right choices. You know what I mean?
Well, and maybe that's the reason why they didn't put the women tag on Backlash, because they say, hey, we, in years past, we've erased everything we did. Why don't we just have this as a separate moment instead of falling in line with everything else like that?
That's true. That could be one aspect of it for sure. Anything else you want to say about that match before we talk about the next one?
No, but I did want to say real quick, going back to the women tag, I really wish that, since we've been talking about gear, that Tamina and Natty, I wish they did the pink and black with the tiger stripes like Snuka instead of cheetah print.
Yeah, the cheetah print's a little weird, but yeah, I hear you. Did
But
Snuka
anyways,
never
that's-
have? Did she never? Did Snuka never have a leopard print?
I want to say he did, but his most iconic one is obviously the tiger
The
print.
stripes. Yeah, I agree. Well, actually, keeping in I don't know the word anymore, but staying on track like we did before, let's talk Charlotte, Rhea, and Asuka in Raw. They did a whole thing where Asuka had a match with Charlotte. Asuka wins. Rhea's like fucking around. Charlotte looked kind of dumb in there. Then Charlotte throws herself off the top rope, and they called it a reversal. Dude,
Yeah.
that match with Asuka felt real clunky and weird, and so did that tag match. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it was not fluid in any of these. But Asuka got the win on that, and so I don't know why these are the only three women who can be in the title picture.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I just want a break from Charlotte again.
Yeah.
Even when she's in the back and before Rhea barks at her, she, hey, I didn't get pinned. I didn't lose. Let me do this. I want this. And it's like, fuck off. Just go.
Also, yeah, and it's also such a tired trope. Well, technically, I didn't lose that match. It's such a fucking overplayed angle.
Yeah.
That, I mean, even in the regard of someone trying to say they deserve a match because they weren't pinned, I feel like there's a better way to go about it than just the same old, technically I didn't lose because I wasn't the one pinned. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
anything else could have happened that you could have said interfered with your ability to perform in the triple threat. Because I don't know. I did like Rhea coming out and saying she wanted new challengers. I liked that.
Yeah. Well, and
So-
I like that Rhea came out and literally said that. Like,
Yeah.
almost, hey, we're sick of you. Everyone's sick of you. Go away.
Yeah.
Woof.
I really liked that back and forth between the two of them, actually. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. I guess it was what it was. I'm not interested in Charlotte's story right now. So I kind of do
No.
want to see some sort of backseat happen, because even then, if you have other people even step up into that role for a title shot, you just know that Charlotte's going to be involved the same way Drew McIntyre's involved in every title match moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ugh.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been impressed. And that was such a weird... So she tried to do a Spanish fly, they said, and Asuka reversed it. And in the clip, I watched a million times, Charlotte's sort of holding on to Asuka's arm, but Asuka's also sitting down and doesn't push against Charlotte at all, while Charlotte gets her footing and then flips backwards. And then they go, oh, Asuka pushed off Charlotte. But I watched it a million times and she doesn't. I even heard someone saying, like, oh, she kind of does it with the same arm that she's pulling on. And not really. Not with a force that should flip someone backwards. Like, it was really weird. It was a really weird spot. And I feel like there's been a lot of these miscues in these couple matches with Charlotte. So, I don't know. Maybe it would be fine to just not have her in the main picture there for just a little bit so we can give the division a little bit of room to breathe. But I don't know. I don't know. I like the gear. Ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. This is why I think they did not do Natty and Tamina, because they knew they were going to do this feel-good moment, and how many family-based feel-good moments you're going to throw into one pay-per-view.
A lot.
Just all of them. Just do them all.
Yes.
But I love this match, dude. This match was fucking fantastic from top to bottom. All of it. Just a great match. And then the Mysterios getting the win. Feel good moment. Just dope. I have no complaints about this.
Yeah, the only thing I missed was I wanted a little buddy action.
Buddy?
I wanted, Dominic to get hurt in the back. Yo, you're not cleared. And then Dominic, walking out and, having Buddy sitting there and be like, hey, I'll do it. I'll tag. No, get out of my way. I got this. You're not my brother.
Yeah, I could see that. At least get Buddy
but
Murphy.
But then it might have been too hokey, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it could have been even Buddy Murphy could have even hyped up Dominic a little bit. You got to get out there, man. You got to be, you know what I mean? Like,
Did you just see Buddy Murphy come out from behind? And then the daughter and the mom are on the couch celebrating. And then Mysterio's like, what the fuck?
oh, you talking about the video that they played back? Oh, we weren't talking about that. They did post a video online of the mom and sister celebrating and screaming and stuff about the win. And producers saying it would have been good if Buddy Murphy was in the background of that video.
Yeah,
it's been funny.
Well, I mean, like it was weird because they haven't talked about Aaliyah in forever.
Yeah, and
they mentioned her quite a few times, so I was like, oh, Buddy's gonna come out and help and do something, and he just didn't.
Yeah, did nothing.
Which I'm okay with, but at the same time, I think it was one of those I was expecting it. So when it didn't happen, I'm just a chapped wrestling fan.
Yeah, I was wondering if they're gonna use like Cain Velasquez in here somewhere or something, but. Yeah, none of that, but it was really clean. It was really nice. I heard a few people complain about the frog splash at the end, and we thought this frog splash looked weird, but I didn't think it looked shitty. I thought it hit weird, where there wasn't a lot of bounce to it. It just kind of looked like two pancakes flopping into each other. And typically when you see a big splash, a lot of times you see a big bounce off of it, and you go, oh, goddamn. This felt like just bullfrog
I
falling.
I don't think Dominic can do, like, or hasn't, like, I don't want to say practice because obviously I don't know how he practices, but because a lot of times, like when Montez does it, he lands and then when his momentum comes up, he pushes himself up to make it look, that much grander. And Dominic just kind of landed and was like, "Cool, I did it."
Yeah, he just kind of landed. Yeah, just plop. I was like, all right. So, I don't know. It was cool. But yeah,
I mean, I'm glad they got the win. I think it's really cool. I like it. Just let's see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really already excited for when they split up and they want Dominic to turn on Rey, and I don't feel the need for that. I've also heard people say that they're just completely not interested in the Dominic and Rey Mysterio thing, and they feel like it's just appeasing Rey. But I'm not getting that feeling at all when I watch it. Do you?
I mean, no, not really. Because I would say if this was Rey right after he won his heavyweight championship, and then he's like, okay, now I'm going for the tag title with my son. Okay, I could see that. But Rey came back and was back for, 2 years now?
Yeah.
And
said he was gonna
he's
retire.
kind of floundered around.
Yeah.
Like, when he first came back, I was like, cool. He's going to be in the title pictures. This is going to be great, And he never was.
Yeah.
I think he went after, was it the IC or the US once or twice, but didn't win.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
He went up against the US against Joe, and he got fucking murdered in like 30 seconds. Remember? At Mania.
yeah. Then he got his eye gouged out. Like these last couple years, Ray's paid his dues, even if this is just to appease him. He's lost his eye. He lost his daughter to an Australian.
He had to earn his own kid's custody back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been through it.
Yeah, a man coming undone.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been through it for sure. And I think this too. What the fuck else is happening in the SmackDown tag division right now that you can't tell this story? You know what I mean? And what, with as much as people want to shit on the tag titles not being in the main event or not being enough tag teams, this is a tag team they've been working on for a long time, and a way that they made a tag team win feel important and emotional. Also, Dominic's been wrestling what, shy of a year now? Has it even been a full year? It was SummerSlam last year. He started,
it was over
so
a year.
wasn't his first match SummerSlam last year, so aren't we still waiting for SummerSlam this year for just 1 year?
I thought we already passed SummerSlam. Now that Hell in the Cell is next month.
Yeah, no, we skipped SummerSlam. But he hasn't even been wrestling a year. And people are already being like, he needs to be on his own, he needs to be more vicious, he needs to turn heel. I'm like, he's been wrestling a fucking year, and they don't even have house shows. Like,
Yeah.
what better way to learn than in a tag with, I don't know, the greatest lucha of all time, his father? Get a couple feel-good moments from a dude who's put his entire life into wrestling since he was a kid. Like you said, lost his eye, lost his family, had to earn his family back in a ladder match, lost his daughter, called his daughter a hoe. I mean, he's been fucking through it.
I don't think he called her a hoe.
Kind of, didn't he? And
For
wasn't
show,
that one of the
he
things?
did.
Yeah. He said, she's naive.
Yeah, that's not the same.
She'd be hoeing around, he said.
He didn't say that.
So, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have any problems with that. I am absolutely invested in the story, and I don't think that this is... I don't know. I think they're doing a good job with it, and Dominic's been getting better each fucking time, and that's all you can hope for. And if you don't have a house show where he can run 8 matches a week with the same couple of people to learn how to get better, then you got to do it one way. And how about the tag division, which is traditionally a division that flounders anyways?
And I'm so glad that they overcame a good tag team, because I would have been very pissed if it was just Street Profits.
I mean, Super Hours Profit would he put on a good show. They sell good.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been like a great wrestling. It would have just been, oh, who's going to make the most exaggerated face or the most,
Yeah, it would have been a bit cartoony.
it would have just been silly.
Yeah, Dirty Dogs are amazing. They did such a good job here. It was so good, man. So good. I just love it. So that's what I was wondering what you thought, because I've heard people saying that shit about it, and I was like, I'm not getting that feeling. I do get a little bit of the feeling that it's happening because Ray was going to retire. Remember when he signed that last contract, he said it was going to be his last contract, and he was going to retire at the end of it. He just wanted to retire his career in WWE, but then he renewed it when his son came through. And they even did that one little thing on air where he's like, I'm going to retire, and then his son's like, don't. I think they played it out on TV a little bit, because I'm pretty sure it's kind of how it went down anyways. He'd said before he was going to retire when his contract was up. And I think the idea of like, hey, let's do a run with your boy, and how is he going to pass that up? This is going to go down as one of Ray's brightest memories of his entire wrestling career, and it's in the twilight of his career. Like, fucking how great is that? And he's still performing at a level that doesn't look like he's anywhere near the twilight of his career. It's incredible. I just think it's incredible.
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say, is how many second and third generation, wrestlers, superstars have we seen that hasn't even been in the same company as their dads?
Yeah. 100%.
Not the same company, but in the company at the same time is what I meant to spew out.
Yeah. It's almost never happened, and not on a level where they can both perform, Yeah.
And like I said in my last episode 2.5 years ago, when we were talking about this, and I said, the Mariners, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. were both on the same team, and there was one game where they hit back-to-back home runs. Like, I bet that's one of Ken Griffey Sr.'s greatest memories of baseball.
Yeah.
Just a
I think
regular
so.
season game, back-to-back home runs. I hit a home run, then my son hit a home run. Like, that's got to be a great fucking feeling.
Yeah. That's got to be everything. Even in the Broken Skull session with Randy Orton, he still says one of the greatest memories he has in all of wrestling was the like 1 or 2 month time where they had him in a story with his dad. And his dad was kind of teaming up with him. One of his favorite matches
When he was
is
on the
the one
sidelines
match.
and
Yeah, but they had one match where they had the match together. He said that was easily one of his favorite matches of all time.
yeah.
And I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I know that they're not trying to shit on it by saying that stuff, but you kind of are. And I just think it's unnecessary. And I think that for a division that people don't think gets highlighted enough, they made the tag titles this week and both the women's and SmackDown's titles seem really important because you had people win it who won it emotionally because it meant a lot to them. And it's really easy for me to buy in when you can tell that they believe. You know?
Yep.
We keep talking about storylines to bring us in or we want to believe and we want to forget suspension of disbelief. Well, when someone wins the title and you can tell they're ugly crying because it means that much to them, yeah, it's really easy to get wrapped up in that moment and think that it's real. You know what I mean? Because right then in that moment to them it is.
Oh yeah.
So
And it was great, seeing them hold up the belts. Ray and Dominic holds it up. Dominic is, just smiling. And then you look at Ray and he's crying out of his one good eye. It was great.
It was amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. And
Yeah.
to think about that with a guy like Ray, who's won the title at a Mania. Like, he's done a lot. For him to win a tag title, a SmackDown tag title in the second match of a card, and for you to just know in your heart that that's probably one of his favorite championships he's ever won, is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I don't agree with anybody shitting on it, and long may they reign. And for a company that hates tag team wrestling, they sure did make tag team titles seem pretty fucking important on Friday and Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah. People just have to be less impatient, I think.
Yeah. I mean, even on Raw, they made the SmackDown women's title or the women's tag title seem important. They had a whole segment where you had 3 different tag teams saying that they should be getting a shot at these titles, not Naya and Shayna.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the internet wrestling community is very,
stupid.
Well, just so impatient, kind of like like little kid impatient. Like, all right, just tell me the end of the story.
Yeah.
All right, hurry, next story, and some of these stories take a minute.
They want what they want when they want it, or they don't want it at all. And it's like, you gotta fucking relax. That's not how stories work. And even then, it's like, if it's not exactly the way they want it, like, well, not that great. Like, and everyone wants to feel too fucking smart. They want to be so smart that they golf clap when something happens. Nah, I'd rather be dumb. I'd rather be dumb and cheering and screaming and crying and feeling emotionally attached to these characters because it's a lot more fun of a ride to enjoy it. And even us, where we get on here all the time and just try to analyze it, get a little deeper, it's because we're trying to latch into that deeper part of the emotional connection. Not
100%. That's one of the reasons why, for the most part, I stay off of Twitter and I don't read dirt sheets because, the perfect example was it Crown Jewel or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Where they announced like 2 weeks prior on Twitter that Hogan was going to, host it.
Yeah.
And I remember I had the day off and I turn it on, I hear Hogan's music playing and I fucking jumped up and down like I was 10 years old again. And I was fucking excited. And I remember texting you, I'm like, oh my God, Hogan's back. And you're like, yeah, they announced that like 2 weeks ago. I was like, fuck, well, it's so great.
Yeah. Well, you're an idiot. Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. When we're digging into it, it's not to critique it or not to seem so smart or not to be smarter than or any of that shit. We're talking about things that are hitting or missing versus our emotional attachment and why we want something to be that attachment. And the fucking tag titles were the most emotional part of the whole weekend, and people still want to say that Vince McMahon hates pro wrestling and Vince hates tag wrestling and the tag team titles mean absolutely nothing. Well, go tell fucking the Mysterios and Natty and Tamina the tag titles mean nothing, because I feel like they'd have quite the retort. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of bullshit, the next match was Damian Priest versus Miz, and a lumberjack match with zombies. Do you want to talk about it?
Hell no.
Did
It
you
was
say
terrible.
hell no? It was awful.
I would have.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I would have just been happy with a banner on the side of the ring. Then I would have been like, oh, what is that? What's that? Banner in the side of the ring? Hell, I don't even care if it was the mat inside the ring. I would have been much better with that kind of advertisement.
If it just said sponsored by Army of Darkness or some shit. Yeah, I mean,
Or
was
have
just
little promos in the back.
this
Have zombies in the back.
it felt like the Car Shield commercials. This felt like watching wrestling on Boy Meets World. It felt like this is what TV people think a wrestling match would look like. It didn't feel like a match that should have been in the middle of the show. This felt like a match that should have been on the kickoff. If you had switched this with the Sheamus and Ricochet match, I probably would have had no problems.
No.
Because I would have said, hey, it was an advertisement. Of course you put an advertisement on the kickoff. Remember when they used to do the Kentucky Fried Chicken on the kickoff show? They do a match with the Colonel? And it was like
Dolph was the Colonel most of the time. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, 100%. That shit would happen, but it would happen on like the pre-show. And they would cut during the show. They would show a replay of it. Hey, just in case you forgot, KFC still number one, and Colonel had a fight and he won. And Crackle Barrel was AEW. We didn't like that when they had the barrel in the ring, but at least that was barrel in the ring. I didn't like the biscuits. If they hadn't had the tray of biscuits, I'd have been probably okay. Because then they start throwing biscuits at each other. The fuck is this? When you put that level of advertising into the matches, it's a little fucking ridiculous to be in the middle of a pay-per-view. And I think that's really what it boils down to. It's placement on the card and it being what it was. If this was an isolated thing on a kickoff show, I don't think I would have had a problem with it. I really don't. I think I would have been like, all right, well, at least it's on the kickoff show. But when they do this...
No, I still would have had a problem with it.
I wouldn't have liked it.
I
didn't say I would have...
I think, because here's what pisses me off about it. You know, it was corny and hokey and all that shit, yeah. But, you know, Batista tweets out, my friends are going to be there, you know, whatever. I think it would have been more, and maybe it wasn't in line with the ad or the sponsorship, if the wrestlers, you know, dressed as zombies. You know, if you had Gable and Otis dressed like zombies, like maybe not full on zombies, but you could tell that it was them. And they're like joking around type of thing. I think I would have liked that a little more than actual zombies.
Yeah, they try to play to the zombie thing too much. I could see that. Remember back when Champions was doing a whole zombie line, and they actually got a few of the people who were in it to dress up like the zombies, like Sasha Banks and stuff.
Well, those were toys first.
That's right. They were toys first, and they did a photo shoot with them looking like the zombies. And there was that clip going around of Sasha coming up behind, I think, Alexa or someone. And being like, and then being like, holy shit, like, yeah, I could see that if they were fucking around, but yeah, this was just, it was not a particularly good match. It was impossible to be, I couldn't even pay attention to it. Miz got hurt during it. Yeah, he tore his ACL. It's the first injury that Miz has ever been a part of in his entire career. It was not from a zombie. It was Damian Priest was doing one of those like spinning kicks he does off the top rope, and he landed really low and basically crushed Miz's legs underneath him. He didn't like hit him in the chest like he's supposed to. So I don't know if someone wasn't what they're supposed to be. I don't know. I'm not a wrestler. I couldn't tell you who was supposed to be where, do what. Let's not overanalyze and pretend that we're experts. That's what it looked like. He hit low. I don't know who was at fault or if nobody was at fault or, you know. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not part of that part of it. But Miz did get hurt, and it was for a absolutely throwaway match. And I think because Bishop liked it overall, he said the match was actually a good match if you could not watch the zombies. Yeah. I couldn't do that. So I'm sure that Miz, Morrison, and Damian Priest did the best they could. But what a sad, sad way to follow up Damian Priest winning with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania by putting Damian Priest here. His first one-on-one pay-per-view match is in a ring surrounded by zombies.
Yeah.
I thought it was also kind of sad that the zombie work was done by Jason Baker, who we all love. You know, one of the main creators of the Fiend masks. You know, just phenomenal work, and I just felt so bad because I wasn't even interested in the zombie art, the zombie work itself.
Yeah,
I mean, they looked good.
they did.
It was just fucking zombies.
Yeah, no, it was the utilization of them, though. It was where they were and the fact that they were in a match.
Yeah, and
Well,
then they
see-
followed it up. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do this whole zombie thing with the movie and shit like that, it should have been not a lumberjack match. Do a graveyard match or a buried alive match. Then have some zombies come out here and there, whatever. But just for lumberjacks, like,
Yeah. Or do
Because
a
Pri-
do a
because
thriller
Damian
match
Priest-
and have them dance around the
Damian
ring.
Priest chose the stipulation.
Yeah.
Arrow going up.
Oh, yeah. Then that too. He does the whole arrow and he's shooting it at an Army of Darkness thing. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I just
This
think
is
a
all
sponsored
Batista's
match.
fault.
This is Batista's fault. I just think a sponsored match on this level should have been on a kickoff show. They should have been not on the main show. I think that's what it comes down to. This felt very similar to watching the KFC matches. It felt very similar to Rick and Morty being part of AEW. Felt very similar to RoboCop in that, okay, we realize there's a lot of money being made right here. We realize that there's a sponsorship happening here, and we're going to do something with it. It didn't need to be in the pay-per-view. It could have been on the kickoff. But at the same time, I don't know fucking how much money they threw on him to keep it in the pay-per-view and not on the kickoff. It's on Peacock either way, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is all Batista's fault. If he would have just showed up to the fucking Hall of Fame and not make stupid zombie movies, we wouldn't have had this.
Yeah. God damn it, Batista. Yeah. So I don't know. It was just trash. And then on the flip side, on Monday Night Raw, you had Morrison versus Damian Priest in another lumberjack match. The whole highlight of that match, I believe, being Nikki Cross being on the outside of the ring as the sole lumberjill. And when Morrison got thrown out, she threw him back in and like did the crazy Nikki screaming and ripped her vest off and stuff. And that was cool.
Wait,
but I think
they called her Lumberjill?
yeah.
I missed that. That's funny.
Yeah. I know, it's good. But yeah, to me the highlight was Nikki Cross in that whole match. I barely paid attention to it at that point. So I mean, you tell me, did you see anything there that you thought was the thing?
I mean, it was a decent match once again outside of the lumberjacks, like, Miz or goddammit Morrison. And truthfully, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not glad by any means that Miz got hurt. I wish him a speedy recovery. I know it takes a long time, but hopefully Morrison does something with this.
Yes. This could be the thing that Morrison needs more than anything is the separation from Miz. I agree that you never want. There's never a good time for an injury, and you never want anyone to be injured. But like you said, this could be Morrison's moment to really break out, and I hope that he takes full advantage of that. And I mean, Miz will be back, and he'll be fine. I mean, I don't know what to say about Miz because he's the same every time. So it's like he's consistent, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying Miz will come back and he'll be the Miz, and it'll be fine because Miz is always believably going against the champion.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say? As much as I don't like Miz, what am I gonna say?
And I think it's good storyline too. When he does come back, he goes after Priest and be like, "Hey, I've been in here 18 years, never been hurt, and you hurt me. You put me on the shelf." And then they have, he has animosity towards him.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But the fucking zombies, and that's why that's why I said if they did the zombies as wrestlers dressed like zombies, and then the next night they weren't zombies anymore, I think that would have been okay.
Yeah, I think it was a shitty spot in the middle of the pay-per-view, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I wasn't a fan, not a fan of it, but I mean, I guess I get it. They've made a ton of money on it. I just wish it was somewhere else in the card, but yeah, it was a lot to move past, right? After then, it was really tough to be like, all right, well, I guess what the fuck is next? But luckily for them, they put up next Bianca and Bayley, and I was able to get reinvested. But it was tough in the beginning of the match, even so, to feel excited again. But I think we got there. Any other things you want to say about Miz and Morrison, other than speedy recovery, Miz, and hope that Morrison uses this as a launch pad?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
So we have Bianca versus Bayley. I want to know. You already know. What did you think of this match?
I mean, it was a good match. Like, it was one of those where, you know, you're pretty damn certain of the outcome, and you know, it was good. That's basically it. Like, you know, you knew that they didn't throw the belt on Bianca just for her to drop it on Bayley. I would have been shocked if that happened. But,
yeah.
like, you know, it was a good match. I think it was, I hate to say it, but I do think it was better than the Sasha match.
Okay. I've heard people say reverse. I think that you could easily put them up against each other because I think they both were done really well. I like the way that Bayley was doing all this little cheating here and there and trying to use Bianca's hair unsuccessfully a number of times. And ultimately, it got done up by her getting by Bianca getting the leverage by wrapping her braid around Bayley's leg, and then the whole thing being Bayley calling her a cheater when there's like 4 or 5 times that Bayley either gets caught cheating or doesn't cheat, or like doesn't get caught cheating, but you see her clearly cheating. Like when she was pinning her and like clearly grabbed onto the ropes. Like she just sat up and grabbed onto the ropes, like it was so obvious and blatant. And then the refs gets in her and she's like, what do you like? It was, I think it was played out really well by both people. And I do think that even though we really felt like they're doubling down on Bianca here, when Bayley hit that Bayley to belly, it was a ripcord Bayley to belly.
Yeah.
Using Bianca's braid against her to get her into that position. Yo, I thought it might fucking happen. I went, oh my God. Like, and if they can make you not believe or believe during that match. I mean, did you not? Were you at that point going like, oh, what a weird thing they're about to kick out of?
I, you know, like I said, you know, you pretty much knew the outcome, but when that happened, I was like, cool, you know, and of course they're just getting, you know, Bianca some more, you know, momentum and stuff like that. And that's what the reason why I think this match was better than Sasha's. And it strictly goes back to NXT where, you know, Bianca used her braid heavily in NXT.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know, it was like, when, not if, but when was she going to do it? So when she used it against Sasha and they made this huge deal about it, to me, it was like, all right, well, coming from a sports perspective, Sasha didn't do her homework. Sasha should have known, hey, this is always a possibility. She hasn't used it lately, but, you know, you watch film and, you know, the chemistry, I think, was more in this one. Especially going into WrestleMania, I didn't give 2 shits who won between Sasha and Bianca because the storyline was just ugh.
Yeah, the story going into WrestleMania was not on par with what they delivered as far as they put on a fantastic match. This did have more story going into it for sure. And better animosity built up into it as well. But they've also been in a program
and a lot
for
less
months at this
time
point.
too.
Well, they've been on a program since the fucking obstacle course. You know, when Bianca first showed up on SmackDown. So I mean, like you have some stuff there, but you're right. In a short period of time, they really heightened it up for sure.
Yeah.
I would say I liked the spots where like Bianca grabbed her braid like she was about to whip Bayley, and Bayley like cowered and like put her hands up like, oh my God, like no, and then Bianca like laughed at her. I thought it was great, man. I thought this match was perfect. I thought it was going to be a tough one to follow for sure. And like you said, you thought it was better than WrestleMania. I heard people say that they didn't think it was. I thought it was on par with. Like you could easily compare the two. I think the conversation is there. I don't know which one I think is better, to be honest, but I do think the conversation is there on what the output was here on both of those. I think they're both fucking phenomenal, which is a great.
I told you
great
which one was
thing.
better. Listen to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But how good is that from Bianca? to be this young in it and be able to pull off these matches this way. I do think Bianca. I do think Bayley looked a little bit better, but I think that's also. I think Bianca was kind of misstepping here and there, and there's only so much you can do. But I think Bayley did an awesome job covering up a number of those, and even that pin at the end was real close to not being a full-on pin, and I think that Bayley did a remarkable job naturally getting beat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there hasn't been a SmackDown, so there's nothing to talk about there on the show. But let's see. Anything else you want to say there?
No.
Man, I loved it. I was so happy. Oh, and then Bayley's top, that shirt. At first, we thought that was a Jeff Hardy drawing. And I was like, holy shit, did Jeff Hardy do a portrait of Bayley? Of course he'd put that on her gear. Turns out that's not the case. There's an artist that if you go to her Instagram, she tagged him. So you can see his other drawings and stuff. She commissioned him to do it, and it was called like my three personalities or something like that, or 3 me's or something. And so that was the art that she commissioned and had put on her gear. And how fucking incredible is that? And she tagged the guy, gave him all the credit, and I can only imagine being someone who does create art and stuff. The idea of like doing something and then seeing it on one of your favorites just out there. It's fucking wild, man. Wild.
Yeah.
After the match, though, we did end up with the WWE Championship match. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. They doubled down on Bobby Lashley. What did you think of this?
Truthfully, I was surprised by the outcome, and I like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, just, you know, with the whole Hogan thing at Crown Jewel, you know, I want to be surprised. I don't need the whole, you know, oh shit moments all the time, but you know, at WrestleMania, I thought it was going to Drew. It didn't. At Backlash, I thought it was going to Drew, and it didn't. You know, yeah. I'm glad. I'm happy. You know, it sucks because, you know, going into it with that mentality, Drew, you know, draws me away a bit.
Yes.
And then actually seeing the finish, I was like, oh shit, you know, that was great. You know, I think all 3 of them performed well, and yeah, I just wish that they'd officially just be done with Drew and Bobby.
Yeah, 100%. I'm ready for them to move on. I was surprised at how much I was into this match. Braun Strowman looked fucking amazing in this match. He looked so good. I think that it ended up in a spot where Braun Strowman definitely seems to belong in that picture, where there's been a lot of times where we felt like he should belong in the picture, but he doesn't seem to. This is one where he felt like, yes, this is where he should be. This is what. Yeah, absolutely, he made sense.
Well, and we've said it in the past about him, about his promos and stuff like that, and now it looks like that is a thing of the past. Like he's actually just, all right, this is this, not so gimmicky with, oh, you're gonna get these hands. You know, he just talks, and I like it. You know, I think he does. Like you said, now I see, like, yeah, he does belong there.
Yeah.
I just wish, once again, like, I just want them to get rid of the Strowman Express. I don't like it.
Yeah, Strowman Express got to go. What do you think about this? I heard someone say they thought it was a great heel victory by Bobby Lashley. Did you feel like that win was a fucking heelish win at all? Because I didn't feel that way in the least bit. It was a triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Claymored Braun, and then Bobby like speared Drew and threw him out of the ring. That's exactly how anyone would win. Like, that's not a heelish thing. He didn't steal a victory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't what the Charlotte spot was supposed to be. You know, where you just throw him out and, all right, cool, I got the win. Thanks, later. You know, he did one of his finishing moves or signature moves on Drew to incapacitate him while he pinned Braun.
Yeah. I didn't find it heelish at all. Matter of fact, I would expect 100% you would get that from Drew at any given day.
Yes.
You know?
And it's funny because one of my buddies came over who's a casual fan, and we were talking about the heels and faces in this match.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, Drew's the heel. And he's like, well, I thought he's the face. Well, he's supposed to be the face, but he's not. He's a heel, but they call him a face. And then I was like, and then you got the exact opposite on the other side with Bobby, who's supposed to be the heel, but he's such a legitimate, nice guy.
Yeah.
That, excuse me, it's really hard to actually believe that he's a heel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say it's hard to believe. You know, he does a good job. I'm not trying to take that away from him. But since he is, like I said, a genuinely good guy, you want him to be the face.
Yeah, that's just it. I would say that he's not a believable heel because everything he's doing to be a heel just makes him more cool. I mean, he's incredibly easy to cheer because he's doing such a good job of just being him and being legitimate and seeming like a badass. Where, no, fuck. And even then, Drew McIntyre was working with Bobby Lashley to take out Braun. That's what a babyface does, right? Team up with a heel. No, it was so obvious during that match. I was like, come on, how am I the only one who's been, not me alone, but how are we been the only people for 8 months saying he's a heel? You know, like, get on board, people, pay attention. But Bobby won, and I loved it. I think that's all I got to say about that match. So let's talk about Raw then.
Yep, started off, went from the Strowman Express to the Ho Train.
Yep. Right out the old Ho Train gimmick one more time. Give it one more run.
I was waiting for Godfather to come out and be like, right on, play it, and just like walk by it. Like it felt like a retro spot.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It was dumb. But they did do an open challenge, and Drew comes out, of course, and then MVP says, anybody but you, asshole. And so he leaves. And then the whole show, they're kind of like, who will it be? Who won't it be? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be me? And they did the whole thing, and I thought they did a really good job of it. At the end of the day, it came out. It was Kofi who had a match prior in the night, and he went up against Bobby Lashley. Now, the match itself I thought was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
At the end of the match, Drew McIntyre comes out, takes MVP's cane away. Remember the limping gimp MVP, rips his cane away to hit Bobby Lashley in the face with it, and Kofi gets the win because Drew's a face. So, of course, he rips a cane away from a man with a bad knee to hit the champion in the face with a cane in the babyface way.
He takes a cane away from a disabled man.
Yeah. Because he's a babyface. That's fucking bullshit, man.
I think
the thing is, though,
MVP sold it like that. Like the oops, I've fallen and I can't get up. Like he takes his cane and MVP just falls over.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be really good. But yeah, so Drew McIntyre gets involved again because he has to be involved in he's been involved in every championship match since April of last year.
It's a pity.
Whether he's champion or not, he's involved in the match one way or another. So there he is. He's what he's been doing. That's where he's at. But the match with Kofi and Bobby Lashley was otherwise fantastic. And it makes you wonder if they're going to do something with Kofi and Bobby again because, he got the win. So now I get my title shot. So maybe at Hell in a Cell, you see Kofi versus Bobby. I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
But Hell in a Cell is supposed to be a blowout from a long feud. Like, don't get me wrong. I would rather see. Huh?
I'm not saying in the cell, just at Hell in a Cell. Because they announced that's the next pay-per-view.
Which I'm still so weirded out by that.
Yeah. It's usually in October. Do you think they're doing Hell in a Cell because Roman and Jimmy needs to be in a cell?
I hope they're not that transparent.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'll tell you this. I don't think you need Hell in a Cell as often as they use it at this point. But the last few Hell in a Cells have had a banger match that is just so good. And so I'm going to have a hard time saying I don't want to see Jimmy and Roman in any kind of a match, let alone Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't think that it need to be there, but I'll be watching and I'll probably be screaming,
But it'd be so weird to switch around the pay-per-views just to have that one spot. And before Hell in a Cell would happen at other pay-per-views.
That's true. That's true. Back in the day,
don't rename the pay-per-view. Because isn't it supposed to be Money in the Bank typically? Yeah. So do Money in the Bank and then have Roman say, "Hey, I I beat
Maybe
your
it's
cousin at a Hell in a Cell. Let's do it now. Let's not wait until October.
Maybe it's a twofer. Maybe you get Hell in a Cell out of the way now, do the Jimmy Roman stuff. The cell is historically hard to see through anyways, and now you have Money in the Bank in the ready for when you got fans back anyways, and you can do Money in the Bank in front of a crowd.
I can see
You know
that.
what I mean? Like, we're in weird times right now. Still. So
Just now.
I could see if they were like, we'd rather have Money in the Bank in front of a crowd than Hell in a Cell in front of a crowd. I 100% feel like that's a valid argument. Remember when we saw Elimination Chamber? How difficult some of it was to see, even though we could see cool shit?
It's because John Cena was in it. You can't see it.
Can't tell anything he's doing. It's wild. People are just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I could see that maybe being part of the deciding factor as well. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I
All
mean,
right,
like you said, it would make sense
Yeah.
if that was the reasoning behind it. But
Yeah, for visibility's sake alone, I'd rather be at a Money in the Bank than Hell in a Cell. So, I don't know. I can see. Well, it does take us to, speaking of Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, we had Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. How fucking good was this match, dude? This could have been a WrestleMania main event, for sure.
yeah, oh yeah, it was great. Like,
It's
and
absolutely amazing.
this is what makes, Roman real good right now. Is there are several times, just like at Mania, where you're like, oh fuck, Cesaro's got this, here we go, and he squeaks it out, but it was so good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just a flawless match. The selling of his arm the way that he did, we don't know how much he got hurt or didn't. I don't know if those abrasions were scratches that he gave himself, but there was a lot of talk on what was happening and what was supposed to be happening, and it was just a wild and perfect match, man. It was so good. This is probably Cesaro's best match, and he's had a lot of amazing matches, but I'd put this up as one of his best matches ever, and I think this is a top 10 Roman match for sure.
Yeah.
Probably top 5 even.
Yeah, I can
I
see
mean-
that, because there are a lot of Roman matches I didn't like until recently.
Yeah. And that's just it. This match was way different. Remember I talked about how unbelievable Roman's matches were on TV because he would get his just ass handed to him for like 10 straight minutes. Then he would do 3 or 4 power moves and win. And it was like, well, it doesn't make sense. He's just getting his ass handed to him the whole fucking match. Now he's having a real back and forth with these people. He's looking dominant, and then he looks like he's getting taken advantage of. He looks a little dominant, and he looks like he makes a mistake that they take advantage of. Like, it's amazing.
I mean, there's actual storytelling, and it makes you believe.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then at the end of the match, Seth Rollins comes out and tries to destroy Cesaro's arm. Which is a little wild. This was kind of weird. I expected the show to go off the air with Roman and Jimmy and Jay one way or the other. And they ended up leaving. And Seth came out, beat the shit out of Cesaro, and then it ended on Seth. It was a little weird because I know I heard some people saying some shit on this too. It is a mid-card story. And I heard someone say, with the utmost arrogance, it's not a mid-card story because this is top-tier talent. Incorrect. It is still a storyline that happens in the middle of the card with top-tier talent. It's nothing about the talent being involved if they're main event worthy. These are main event caliber talent for sure, no question. It is still the story that's told in the middle of the card.
Main event talent throughout the roster.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. 100%, dude. The whole roster on SmackDown is main event worthy and caliber at any given moment, and they've showed that.
Mm-hmm.
The Usos have showed that. They went from a tag division to literally main event Jey Uso almost overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, it was overnight because he was only in that match because his brother was hurt. They didn't know what to do, and they said, well, let's do this thing, and it fucking worked out incredibly. Seth Rollins obviously can be in any main event. Cesaro just proved he can be in any main event. The argument isn't, are they main event caliber? Of course they are. Is it
It's a story.
Yeah, where's the story live? Well, in the mid card. How tremendous is that? That's actually something to be happy and excited for. Look how good our mid card talent is. The mid card storylines are with main event players. That's one of the reasons why SmackDown is so good beginning to end, because you have main eventers from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So everything's on point every time. Where Raw's got 3 hours and they're developing people and teaching people. You got Retribution learning as they go. You know what I mean? Like, you have different levels of skill on that show, and it shows. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how the show gets built. But SmackDown, it's all main event. So I don't know. I was just annoyed by the take on that it's not a mid card because they're main event caliber. It is. And well, where is it? It's like the people who live in fucking Brooklyn and they say that they don't live on Long Island. It's the fucking island, dude. What do you want? You're surrounded by water. That's just geography. You're part of that island. You're not part of the Manhattan Island. Literally, physically, you're not there.
You're in a certain section of Long Island.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the left side of Long Island. What the fuck do you like? How can you say you're not part of Long Island? If you need to cross a bridge to get to the city, you're not part of the city. You're on the island. I don't know. It's just bullshit. And it's the same thing here. No, just because they're in the mid card doesn't mean they're not main event talent. And just because they're main event talent doesn't mean their story isn't mid card.
Yeah.
Where does it live? In the middle. It's mid card. What's the problem? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just
and after watching this and watching it unfold, like you said, traditionally this wouldn't be the go home match.
Yeah.
Like, all right, and this cliffhanger, if you will, like you said, would be middle of a pay-per-view.
Yeah. 100%, man. And that's good news, because that means that the mid card is can't miss. That's fantastic news. I mean, it's also one of those deals too. You can't have one person on top all the time. It has to fluctuate. So you have people who could be world champion at any given moment in the middle of the card. It makes your middle of the card seem real fucking legit. So yeah. Let's not discount the idea of how good they are, including their placement on the card, because that's also a fucking credit to them that they make the mid card can't miss. I don't know, man. I think we got through it all pretty quick tonight. I don't know that we have a whole lot else.
I'm still thirsty.
Yeah. Let's see, because that's the end of Backlash. And when I look at Raw, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I do have one more thing that I was thinking now. So, because I kept thinking of Bobby and Kofi. If this goes forward and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, okay, Kofi goes out there and Xavier's pointing at him. They immediately say, hey, it's Kofi. Xavier hasn't taken his shot. And then I think back on Shinsuke taking Corbin's crown.
Yeah,
Are we getting King of the Ring again?
Maybe. I think it's possible.
I'm just thinking of, you're separating Kofi being a singles guy right now.
Yeah.
Woods has always said he wants to be King of the Ring.
Yeah.
So then with Shinsuke taking Corbin's crown, let's do fucking King of the Ring. I'm not saying
I'm all
Woods
for
has to
that.
win it, but
I think what we could see is Shinsuke be the king of strong style like he was in Japan. He would wear crazy crowns and shit and come out all cocky and arrogant. So I think we could see that with Shinsuke as the king of strong style with a crown. And I think we could see a shift in Corbin's character away from being a king. I don't know that it lends towards we're definitely getting a new King of the Ring. I think it's still very possible, but I do think that we're probably leaning more towards Shinsuke becoming the crown-wearing psychopath and less towards Xavier Woods getting King of the Ring, if I had to venture a guess. But I do think I would love it.
Yeah, I'm not saying, Xavier's going to win it, but I'm just saying, Corbin won King of the Ring, was it 2 years ago now? If not longer?
That's true. And if they did it right, you could even have Shinsuke go into King of the Ring as the king And you could end up building towards Woods versus Shinsuke for the King of the Ring and have people fucking heavy involved. And when Shinsuke won, all the smart fans, Xavier Woods wants to be King of the Ring so bad, would boo the shit out of him. Boom.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I think, as much as Xavier's put out there, like, hey, I want to be King of the Ring, I want to be King of the Ring. I think the smart move would be if the first King of the Ring that he's in, he loses. You do throw him all the way to the finals, and he still loses. Even if you don't want to do it with Shinsuke, but the crown wearing psychopath or whatever you called him, like, hey, yeah, that's great. But even if Corbin retains, like, I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I do like
think so.
King Corbin. Even if he, just still goes back to just being Corbin, like, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a bang-up job with it.
More of him, but
I think if he leaned into like the suits and watches and cigars and stuff like he does on his social, I think he can still walk around with a similar air that he walks around now, but without the king garb necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Splinter Fox coming through. Cheers, Splinter Fox. Nice to see you coming through. I hope you've been having a good time as we just talk through what's been going on. Sorry, we're not going to have a La Greca meltdown about the zombies. We did say we didn't like it, though. So that motherfucker lost his mind, dude. I cannot listen to Busted Open at this point. He's become unlistenable. It was just wild. It was just wild.
I mean,
but
I hate how people go overboard with shit. Like, don't get me wrong. We didn't like it. We said what we didn't like it. Hey, we could have done this. We could have done that. But people that fucking, like, legitimately sit there and fucking, like, almost are in tears about it. And just, like, fuck this, fuck, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, you're screaming till you're red in the face.
You didn't like it. That's it. Move on.
Yeah, 100%. It's fucking bullshit. Let's see. The only stuff that happened in Raw we really didn't talk about was AJ defeating Elias, which was fine. That looks like an interesting storyline with the tag teams going forward. Garza shoved another rose up Gulak's asshole.
No, in his mouth this time.
Oh, this time it was in his mouth. That's right. Good call. Great call.
Straight ATM.
That is exactly how ATM works, now that you mention it. Tozawa got the 24/7 title off of R-Truth, which we haven't seen in months, so that's cool. Kofi Kingston had the match with Randy Orton. The back and forth in the back with Randy Orton and the New Day and Riddle was so good. I even like when he was getting mad and Kofi's like, "What is this? A reptile dysfunction?"
Yeah.
So fucking funny. I was like, "Oh my god."
Dude, I'm liking the fucking Orton and the RK Bros.
Me too.
100% behind them.
I like them a lot, and you know what that means after all the time I was just not into so much what Riddle was doing. This seems like a great fit. This works.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talked about Asuka. We talked about Natty and Tamina won again against Shayna and Naya, which was good because they just doubled down on them being the champion, which is, I think, what they need to do. I actually hope they have a long title reign. I really do. And I hope that they help build the women's division as they go because they can have great tag matches with a lot of these women over and over again, and they'll all be getting much better because how do you not get better if you've been in the ring with Natalya and Tamina?
Yeah.
We talked about Sheamus and Ricochet and Damian Priest and Morrison, and that was it, man. And then the Bobby Lashley stuff. So I think we got through it. Twin Fox is saying, wait, zombies. Yeah, there was a shitty zombie match during Backlash. There was a Miz and Morrison in a Lumberjack match, and the Lumberjacks were all sponsored zombies from the Army of Darkness TV show or video game or movie. I don't know. It was maybe not the best commercial because I don't know if it was a movie, game, or TV show. You saying it was a movie?
Yeah, because Mr. Hollywood Batista.
Yeah, but he's been in video games too. He's in Gears of War. They did a thing. It was stupid. It was stupid. We talked about it earlier. Go back, listen to the archives, or download this is going to be on Twitch to replay here in just a second too. So, if we can just figure out how to get the old, I wish I had like an air horn again. Didn't even work, dude. That did not work.
We've never had an air horn. We just did it with our mouths.
I know, but I'm saying like, I just don't know how to create enough ruckus to wake up the producer so we could end the show. I even did the air horn noise. It made no difference. I wonder if I do the money gun or something. Here we go. We're getting ready for last call. Is there anything else, Kev, that you thought we missed in Backlash or Raw?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah. I think we did good. We made a good time this time. I'm glad to have your back. When you're partners, when you're one half of the IIronics, you just get shit done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, we're getting through it. So, guys, if you want to get live reactions, go to the podcast and subscribe so you can get the downloads to come back. We do have a buyback from the Drink Along. We call a buyback any extra show that just comes out and it's not the Tuesday, Thursday recordings. So we got a buyback watch along. Me, Bishop, GR Lunar from the chat. Guys, that's Backlash. That's Raw. Kevlar, you want to tell people how they can find you if they want to hit you up to message you? Plug your
Courier
OnlyFans?
Pigeon's probably the best way.
Probably the best way. Or to slip a note to one of your kids, because you'll definitely respond when you see that.
Yeah. Yep,
What
that's
the
about
fuck?
it. You can find us on Facebook, Wrestling on the Rocks. You can try and reach me at Twitter. I probably won't respond for about 6 months. But it's Kevlar on the Rocks with an X.
That's right. The Facebook page, if you do want to ask Kevlar a question specifically, especially if it comes down to like European kickball or lacrosse or foosball, as it were, any of the sports that are going
how
on.
about them Suns, baby? Number 2 in the West. Woo!
Oh, that's cool. There was something that happened the other day, and I was like, God, we need Kevlar because it was a sports question. I have no idea what it was. But we are Wrestling on the Rocks. You can find us at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. You can find all of our links, our shop, our how to subscribe, how to join your Twitch Prime with your Amazon Prime to give us a free subscription that buys us a drink, and we appreciate when you do that. So, guys, if you could also do us a favor, go to WrestlingTheRocks.com and go to our links and hit the YouTube and just give it a quick subscribe. We're trying to get to the 100 points so we can change the URL so it can be customized. That's all we want. Once we get to 100, create new accounts, create bots, whatever you got to do to help us out. Make fake followers is totally fine. We just need to hit that 100 mark to get that custom URL. So anybody out there who knows how to do bots, just get it done. Get it done. I'll send you some stickers. Kev, are you ready for last call?
Let's do it. Let's call.
Let's do it. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR the show. That is the end of episode 1. Come back on Thursday for Thursday Night Chaser with me and just in time. We will run back episode 1 yet again. Guys, that's the last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling.